This podcast is too short to cover everything about you, Ramy. But there was a world record that you did.
I stood on the elbow for 12 hours, 12 minutes and 8 seconds.
You were so into bodybuilding.
And then I went on this cycle of being sick.
Did you know you had cancer?
We were meant to be with no shoes. Yet now we are trying to create the best technology for the shoes to imitate our feet.
Now talking about feet, I want to try the nail board.
Okay.
Okay, I'm ready.
I'm not gonna cry on my podcast. I'm supposed to make my guests cry, but I'm not gonna yeah. Welcome to my second podcast of Meet My Friendz with Diva D. And today's guest is someone super special, a good friend of mine, Ramy. He has a very inspirational story. I wanted to do this podcast because I want you guys to meet my friends and know who inspires me. And I wanted you guys to meet Ramy because he's super special. And today you're gonna hear about his amazing story, his journey. And trust me, this person is someone you do not want to miss. Let's just get into it. Hi, Ramy.
Thank you so much for the introduction, Diva.
Thank you for being part of my podcast. And like everything I said, I actually meant. Like, I know when I met you the first time, it was like this event in Abu Dhabi. And we just had we're having dinner, like a big group, and you were sitting next to me, and we just started speaking, and I realized like there's so many layers to you. And I'm like, this is someone that I want to be friends with. So then we started being friends on social media, and like I always text you sometimes when I have like questions and so forth. And I keep watching your stories on social media and the things that you do. And I feel like you have such an amazing story. And you honestly are someone that inspires me.
Thank you, Diva.
And there's different people that inspire me. And it's really rare for me to say that. Tell me about Ramy. Just tell me who is Ramy?
Ramy is someone who loves life so much, who learned to appreciate life because of the struggles that I passed through, not the ones that I decided, that life gave it to me. And then I decided to put myself into challenges, something like the one behind me. And then I learned to be grateful and appreciate every moment that I'm alive.
Wow. And what's behind you right now?
It is a challenge that taught me so much that if you want, shared with me secrets of life about me, not about life. It's because life is happening inside of us, right? And I learned so much about it while I was preparing for the record that I did. And I'm sharing the knowledge of this, and I'm trying to make people understand why sometimes you have to put yourself into pain and challenge, like physical pain or mental pain. It's not because it's not like how they call it masochist or whatever it is. It is because where you will learn about yourself, it is where you will elevate, and elevate physically. You know what I mean?
Wow.
So yeah, those are basically the main points that affected the turn point of my life.
So basically what I see is a nail board behind you. And this is, I think I've never actually seen one. You guys stay tuned because at the end of this episode, you're going to see something crazy that I've never done. I'm going to test myself through like crazy pain, and stay tuned for that. When I first met you, you were telling me about how you were so into like bodybuilding.
Yeah.
Which is something maybe a lot of people don't know. So at what age did you start going to the gym, caring about like how your body looks like and all of that?
I believe, now I can talk about men. I believe every man gets to a point in his life that he sees that, okay, I need to have muscles. Because that's how society works, right? Because that's how you attract girls, and that's how you build your confidence, which is like right. But there's a big but here. How it's commercialized and how it's used and how your body goes into a lot of positive stress, because we grow through stress. But I mean, there's good stress and there's bad stress. And I believe in bodybuilding, there is a lot of positive stress, but we add a lot of negative stress. So I will tell you about my experience, right? So at 20, I was very thin, thinner than this, right? And always you have these people telling you, oh, you're skinny, and oh, why don't you eat, and all that type of nonsense. Until I started bodybuilding, and your hands start to cover the shirt, and you start feeling, oh, I'm feeling, I'm the man. I'm getting like strong,
More confident.
It really affects your personality, this is great. Working out is great, but here comes the best part. So I got into a point, as it says, the first day you go to the gym, that's the only time you will think you will big. Other than that, every time you think, no, I want bigger, and you get into this loop. And then In this loop, you start taking a lot of protein shakes that I disagree with that. And I thought of supplements. It's not that I disagree with that, but I mean, they are more commercialized about the benefits of it and what do they do of actually what you get the benefits of. I'll give you a simple example. If you eat a lettuce and there's vitamin in the lettuce, your body will take those vitamins. But if you take a pill that has the same vitamins as the lettuce, it's not going to take the same, it's not going to affect your body the same way. You get the concept? How the body absorbs the vitamin.
Yeah.
So I got that big. So I got like 15 kg on what you see now. So I was like 85, now I'm around 70. And I was eating constantly, you know, every 2 hours I need to eat, because if I don't eat, I will lose muscles. If I lose muscles, you know, all this work.
Wow.
So I got into this loop. And you know what's funny is now I look into people and I've seen it happening all. Like, I think this is nowadays. This is what happens nowadays.
I think it's also like it's a type of addiction.
Yeah.
It's like very similar to like social media type of addiction, where you're like, you crave those likes, you know, like if you post a picture, why didn't I get this amount of likes? So if you go work out, you're like, oh, I got this amount of compliments. The next time you go out, you don't get the same amount of compliments. You're like, oh, maybe I need to get bigger, you know? So it's like always, it's a mind game, I think.
100%.
And I think if you're not content with who you are, you will never be content, and you'll still try to go, like you said, you know, maybe eventually people will start going to steroids, right?
I've done some.
You have?
Yeah, of course.
No guy would ever admit to that.
No, I made a video about it and I spoke about it because I was like working out hard for 3-4 years, and then my body got to a point, that's it. And then you see people who are not dedicated as much as I was, and they have a better body. I'm like, all right, what the if I'm playing this game, I want to play this game right?
Exactly.
I think what's the most important thing about working out, you work out, right? And you know how much discipline and dedication it gives you. And I think this is a very nice factor to use in our lives. But as you said, contentment is very hard to fall off when you play in this game. It's a very fine line between taking the good of this game and going into the other side. Even though if you're someone who has the competition and wants to do that, man, you have my full support. Do whatever the game are, the rules of the game, even the rules that are spoken, the rules that are not spoken, do them.
Yeah.
You know, you can't go do a Formula One race with a Volkswagen, right?
Exactly.
You need a car. Same thing
Yeah.
goes with the body. So contentment is very important, and it's very important to not fall into, I just want to get big. I don't care about anything else.
The addiction.
Addiction is the worst thing if you don't know how to control it.
In everything. Everything, I think, goes to like girls getting, like surgery to look prettier. Like no matter how beautiful a girl is, if she's not content and she's not convinced that she's beautiful, she might go ruin her face and then get compliments, and it's just this addiction. So I think like I completely get it. What was the turning point for you where you stopped going?
So I got sick with cancer. I was going to the gym, yet I had no power, fatigue. I wasn't able to eat as much as I eat. I was losing weight constantly, like with nothing. And then I went in this cycle of being sick, recover one day, then sick again, then recover, then sick again. Until
Did you know you had cancer at that point?
Back then I didn't know. I was just like, you just feel so weird. I'm not a negative person, but I don't know, there's something wrong this day. And it was happening for like a month. And I thought, all right, maybe it's just I'm sick, or maybe it's just the weather. And it was already the beginning of the winter in Lebanon. So it was like, all right, maybe it's the winter,
The flu. Maybe I got the flu
Yeah,
or
you
something.
start creating stories in your mind.
Yeah.
And then until one day, I woke up very sick and I coughed and there was blood on my hand.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I called my uncle, he's a cardiologist.
Yeah.
And he told me come to the hospital. So I went to the hospital and then they did a blood test. Usually your white blood cells should be maximum 10,000 per microliter, I think that's what's called. If you have an infection like flu or something, it might be 12,000, 14,000. I had 240,000 white blood cells.
Wow.
So actually, I could have died of too much white blood cells in my veins that there's no blood going. You get the point? It's like flood, like it's getting stuck.
Because your body was producing so much of it.
So much, right? So much. So I did the blood test and then he didn't tell me. My uncle knew. Once you see this number, it's directly cancer. He didn't tell me. He told me, can we do another blood test? And I said, yeah, sure.
How old were you?
I was 25.
Wow. 25?
Yeah. I told you at the beginning, it was the struggle. And at this point, when I discovered, I'm like, what is it really life?
So your uncle said, let's do a second blood test. And he hadn't told you.
No. He didn't.
So you didn't know.
No, I didn't know.
So you go in, do a second blood test. Then what happened?
He also see that the numbers were like, they fluctuate. And then he said, can I do a third one? There's just a problem with the machine. I'm like, sure. You know, it's
This
like,
was all in the same day?
this is all in half an hour.
Oh,
Like, you know, it's
wow.
like everything is happening really quick. But for me, I'm like, yeah, I'm just sick, right? So he figured out that it is cancer, blood cancer. And then he called the uncle, decided.
The oncologist, which is the doctor that specializes in cancer patients, right? Yeah.
And he's the friend of my my uncle.
Okay.
Because they were in the same school and all that, you know.
Yeah.
So they knew what type of cancer that I have, what's the treatment, what's the next step, all. And I'm just there.
When did they break the news to you?
So it was Saturday, 7/1/17 on a Saturday. I was so agitated today that, uncle, please let us finish. I have a party at 9 that I booked a table that I need to go with my ex, you know.
Wow.
I swear. And then I'm like, do you mind if you stay in the hospital just for us to give you IV, just for you to feel better? I'm like, is there any chance that I know? He's like, it's better for you. I'm like, because I trust him, you know. He says,
Yeah.
yes. I'm like, okay, I'll stay. I'll cancel the party. You know how you think. It's like you're thinking like that, and life is.
Because you're
happening.
25.
Yeah.
Everyone thinks like that at 25. It's normal.
I agree with you. We can also think like that at 50 and 70, right?
That's true. That's
and
another
at 12, there's
conversation.
there's no room for this. So yeah, the next day, Sunday, 8/1/2017, is the day that my uncle called me, my mom, my dad, and my sister, and we gathered in the hospital. And he said, "Hey, I want to share with you a news. You could be having the worst, or you could be having the bad. So it's good that we don't have the worst. We have a bad situation, and it's you are diagnosed with blood cancer." And at this moment, you know, it's like, reality just melts in front of you. Everything melts. You start saying, am I dreaming or am I living a reality? Is this delusional or this is the reality? You know, you start playing between two sides that you actually don't know what is the real thing and what is not the real thing. And, you know, you go into depression. I was crying.
I think it's a very surreal moment. You're like, this is a dream. This is not happening. And then you have your parents there with you. So they break the news to you and to your parents and your sister. So like, I can't even imagine going through that. Like, I don't know how your mom reacted at that point.
My mom was into a bigger shock than mine. I remember very well that my mom came and sat down next to me in bed in the hospital. And she said, well, we were both crying, right? We were both dissolving. And then she told me, like, I'll be always next to you. And I remember, like, this image, like even in my book when I was writing it, I wrote the exact words, and like this scene is a scene that you can never forget, never. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying it in a bad way. Like, look, even it gives me goosebumps. It gives me something really nice that I pass into this struggle, even though at that moment it was very draining, and you feel like you lost everything. Like you actually feel like I want back my life, and you can't get it, right?
Yeah.
So my mom was into a shock for 2 months. Like my mom actually doesn't remember a lot of things that happened in those 2 months.
Wow.
She was on autopilot.
Wow.
Crazy.
I can imagine.
Crazy.
Like any mother would never, they rather it's happened to them than their own children. Like being a mother myself, like I can't even imagine what your mom went through. And I'm sure, like obviously for the person themselves being told that at such a young age, at 25, like it's not something common where usually like the C word or cancer, like people talk about it like older people get it.
Yeah.
It's very rare when you actually hear of someone of a young age getting it. And like when you do, you're like, oh, like, you know, this is a very rare thing. But then when it happens to you, that's when you're like, why me?
What did I do wrong? I was just being, maybe I wasn't the perfect human, but I mean, I never like hated someone on purpose, or, you know, you start questioning, like, even you start asking like, God, what's wrong? What did I do?
Yeah,
and, you know,
why do I
don't-
deserve this?
And then I think that's why people sometimes when something bad happened, they get stuck there because you're always reflecting on yourself in a negative way. But then at a certain point, I said, okay, look, I am in a bad situation, all right? I acknowledge this and I know this, but I just want to stand up and be strong because of me, because of my family, right? Because if I'm smiling, my mom has a potential to smile. If I'm sick and I'm saying, oh, I don't feel good, who's not feeling good? The whole family is not feeling good.
Exactly.
So I put this, honestly, it was a motivation and like something that inspired me to, all right, let's get better. All right, so what's treatment now? Come, give it to me. You know, I was
Yeah.
like, okay, reading. As soon as I cried and I moaned for like a couple of hours, and then okay,
Now what's next?
what's next?
What's the plan?
What's the treatment? This. All right, this. Bring me the uncle. The uncle came to my room, and then I respect his opinion, but I don't believe all what he said. So I did my own research. I talked to the friends that have been diagnosed. I want to understand where I am, what's the rate of death, rate of survival. Okay, give me, feel myself, and then all right, I shifted between why me to why not me.
Wow.
Why not me? Right? Who am I? Who's this ego I that I talk about? Like, I got diagnosed. I'm no one. This could have been to anyone else, right? So why I would say yeah, it could happen to anyone else and not accepting it happening to myself,
Yeah.
right? I think this was the actual turning point.
That's amazing because a lot of people, I mean, I don't know a lot of people, but I would imagine someone going through that, they would just give up. But you, like, it took you a few hours and you're like, you know what? That's it. Like, what's the plan? Usually when they hear the C word, the next thing's death. Like, I'm going to die soon. But I think when people talk about it, no, it's not.
I could die, right? I could die any moment. But for me, until I reach this point, I'm going to live every second, right? And that's what I think. Like, and now I want to, what do you want to do? Let's do this. You want to challenge yourself? Let's challenge yourself. You want to travel? You want to spend time with the family? What? You want to share love? Share love. Do good. You know what I mean? As I agree with you, it's like how you look at things. Oh, I'm going to die. Man, we're all going to die.
Exactly.
Right? So, all right, I wish I can have more time to spend with the people I love and with doing the things that I like. But I wasn't the one who decided when I'm coming to life, right?
And when you're going to go. No one knows.
No one knows.
Yeah.
So while in this gap in between life and death, let's actually live.
Let's live.
Let's live, right?
Which takes me to my next thing, which is your like slogan.
Yeah.
Let's live, baby.
Let's
that's
live,
what you
baby,
always
every
say.
fucking day. Woo!
Yeah, that's what you always say. And like, I think when people are like, watch Ramy, they're like, oh, he keeps saying, let's live, baby. Cool. But really, if they actually know your story of what you actually went through at the age of 25, they'll know the depth of the meaning, let's live.
Yeah,
right?
For sure.
Like you literally mean let's live because you've experienced that point of maybe I won't live, right?
Yeah.
So I think, like, which is what, when I had that conversation, the first time you told me about this, it was very like inspirational to me because I'm like, wow, like at 25 being diagnosed with leukemia, right?
Yeah.
So like, I don't know, based on my knowledge, which is limited, I thought leukemia, there's no cure to leukemia. But you fought it. That's amazing.
Yeah.
I'm so happy, really. Like,
Thank you.
I think people watching this, if they have a loved one going through it, or if they're going through it, I think you would inspire them, to say like, it's not the end. There's so much more that you can do. There's always a cure. Like you just need to fight for your life.
100%.
Yeah.
Even like my auntie passed away from cancer last year. She was diagnosed with terminal cancer. So what does it mean? My auntie was preparing a celebration every night and every day until the day that she had to go to the hospital. And she said, the day that I'm going to go to the hospital, accept me, I'm gonna leave very soon. I'm going to die very soon. Because all I want to do, I will do it before that. So she was inviting all the family. She lives in Australia. She was inviting all the family from Lebanon. So they were going one by one, sister, then another sister, then her brother, then my sister. They were going. And she was doing like a shaving hair party. She was doing a celebration party, a cooking party, all type of parties. She was actually living like, she's also my inspiration. She was like actually sharing love. She always says her motto was love life. And she was actually sharing life with all the people that she loved for her last breath.
Wow.
It was, and she also, here's the funny part. She is the one who organized her funeral.
No way.
I swear.
Wow.
And she is the one who organized and asked people what to wear. After her death, there were 3 months of my mom, my sister, her husband, her kids. Everyone had tasks to do to accomplish them. For her, it was like her what do we call it? Not her order, like when you
Her
write,
will?
Her will. She also wrote to give her eyes for her husband because her husband had a problem in his eyes.
Oh my God, that's so sad.
It is beautiful. Don't look at it. It's just beautiful. It touched me so deeply that I'm like, wow. You know what I mean? And that's why I have her picture on my chest.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
You tattooed her?
Yeah.
No, like honestly, I got emotional when he said like she gave her eyes. Like you know how people say, "I'll give you my eyes," but she literally gave her eyes.
Yeah, and she also like checked if any of her organs that kind of, but they couldn't use any of her organs because she was metastatic cancer, so they are probably all the organs has cancer cells, so they can't. Yeah.
But you know, your aunt, may she rest in peace. Like what a level of contentment of her path in life. She knew this was her path in life. This is how she's gonna go, and she was content with it. And she made sure everyone was busy even after to be content. Like, I know I'm going. This is what you're gonna do. This is let's celebrate life. And she wanted to leave her legacy, and she did. And she inspired someone like you, which you already are an inspiration to a lot of people.
It is like, you know, I always say like I'm always fascinated and excited to be inspired by people because we are emotional beings, right? We're just beings who are having a human experience, and the human experience is an emotional experience. So we are emotional beings, right? So once you get touched, like if something touches you in the depths of your soul, I mean, all your life will change. That's what I tell people.
Absolutely.
All your life, like everything that you believed and all that, and it was like her story is such a story that.
And this was a year ago, you said.
Yeah, it was like she passed away end of February 2023. I'm less than a year yet.
May she rest in peace.
Thank you, D.
I'm sure she's looking over you.
Like whatever she is, you know, me and my mom will always say, like, whenever she remembers her, you know, my mom gets emotional and she wants to cry. I'm like, if you want to cry, mom, cry.
Let it out.
Yeah, let it, those emotions fill you. And like, don't think of this as something negative. It's something beautiful. We're all passing in this chapter. But she's someone who passed and gave us, like, all of us, she touched everyone that she knew. This is the person that I want to be, such a person, you know? And it's not about anything. It's just that this is the reason that we feel alive. Like, you have kids. You only feel alive when you give to your kids, right?
Absolutely.
Other than this, what? Like, all the other things are, okay, nice, we can enjoy it. But the true essence of life is when you give. When you give from your heart and you do something for others is when you feel like, man, life becomes amazing.
Absolutely. And I think, like you said, you want to be like your aunt. I think you're on the right path. I think
hope so, right?
Yeah, I think you are. And thank you for sharing that. I know that's like something very personal to you, but thank you for sharing that. And I'm sure like whoever's watching this, it would really, like, it touched me. I got emotional. I'm like, I'm not going to cry on my podcast.
I'm happy.
I'm supposed to make my guests cry, but I'm not like, yeah, but no, that's amazing. And I want to go back to let's live. So how many times a day do you say let's live? That's what I want to know.
You know, I say it often. I say it's just a reminder that, you know, it's like everyone, some people has a prayer, some people has, you know, everyone has his way of feeling good. For me, let's live is like my daily mantra to remember whatever is happening through my, because, you know, not all days are rainbows and sunshine, right? There's some days like they shake your foundation and you're like, your knees are not standing straight, right? You're just shivering.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, man, let's live, let's do it. It is the time where you need it. So as much as I can, I always say it. And I always say, like, so there's something lately I've been using it. So let's say me and you, we went for a hike or whatever, like a group of people. And then out of on a random happenstance, like in a moment that is so completely random,
Yeah.
I stop everyone. I say, guys, stop for a second. I just want to tell you something. And everyone stop. And I tell them, today is the best day of my life.
Wow.
And everyone feels like, what, really? And then when you become, like, you spend more time with me, you understand that this what I just said, I use it every day. I try to find a moment and I stop everyone, or I stop myself and say, this is the best day of my life.
I love that.
It is the daily mantra that it just makes us feel good. You just make...
Even if you're having a bad day, will you
100%.
still say it?
Of course.
Wow.
If you can, like, look, sometimes not. Sometimes I missed it. But whenever I, like, because you have to be conscious about it. You have to catch it when it's like a butterfly. You know, it might pass, and then if you're down, you might it will pass. You will not look. You will not see it. But even if I'm down, if I look my eye and I see my butterfly, I catch it. I say, guys, it is a hard day, but it's the best day of my life. And
I love that.
You know, use it, and
I'm gonna start using that.
It will give you something.
Even maybe even if you don't believe it, like me, maybe I'm having a bad day and I don't believe today is the best day of my life. But if I keep saying it enough times to myself, eventually I can make my brain believe that today is the best day of my life.
How cool is it?
That's
It's
amazing.
a secret, right?
The power of the mind.
It is. It is beautiful.
That's amazing.
So this is, if you want an extension for Let's Live, and Let's Live is my daily thing. That it was my motto after my diagnosis. 6 months in, I started like feeling good and like trying to rebuild my life in a way that I said, all what I knew before is a lie. I want to reconsider everything that I knew. Everything. So, and I came up with this, Let's Live, like it just, someone was talking to me. I think one of my friends, he's like, let's do it or let's live it, or you know what?
Yeah.
Let's live. Let's live. I like it. Let's live. You know, and you catch it.
I love that. No, and your shirt says "Let's live." Oh, you got it tattooed on you.
This
Amazing.
is my first tattoo that I got after my cancer diagnosis when the doctor let me continue with my tattoo art. So
you were getting tattoos before your diagnosis.
Yeah.
It wasn't after that, like you had this shift and you started.
No.
Okay.
I had this full before my diagnosis, and then when I got diagnosed, the doctor told me, okay, you have to stop now because your immune system is not good now, and so I forgot about it until like 6 months in. I told him, can I do a small tattoo? And I did this one. It says, "Fuck cancer, 8/1/17." It's here.
The day you were diagnosed.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then he's when he. So the problem is, he said yes. You know, when a kid, someone asks an ice cream and someone says yes, and he was like, he wants to take all the ice cream that he can.
Yeah.
So he says, yes, you can do a tattoo. All right, boom, and I continue with my full body. So yeah. and
How
I
many
did.
tattoos do you have?
So I have my left full leg
Okay.
and my left full hand,
Okay.
my full chest, and
Okay.
my half hand and my neck.
So you're still missing this part.
This part
And your leg?
my back and my right leg.
Are you planning on getting like full body tattoo?
No, I don't like the full body thing. I like this contrast between there is and there's not. Like I like my leg full and my right nothing. I like this contrast.
Is it
Black and white if you want. The yin and yang or something like that.
the soul and the human?
The soul and the human.
The
you know?
physical and the spiritual.
It is beautiful. Like you can always, because it's too that like the two extreme. That I
Yeah.
love. So I like this
That's
contrast.
cool. I like that. So
Yeah.
I'm so interested to know, what is your daily routine, a normal day for you look like?
So I have the days that are extreme physical challenge, and I have the days that are decent challenge. All right. So the extreme, let's go, because the extreme is very fun.
Yeah.
So I wake up at 5, 4:30, 5, 5:30, depends how long. This is my Tuesday and Thursdays, like today and Tuesdays. So I wake up at 4:15. I go for a run, 8 kilometers run from my house to the beach. And then there's a group of guys that I met. They work out on the beach from 5:30 till 6:30 a.m. So I work out with them on the beach. It's like a military training, like a cool military training. All right. So in the sand, and then you have to roll on the sand. You have to hold your friend, run with him, swim, and it's like fun, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And then I finish. I run back home.
How many hours is it?
So it's an hour to run to the beach,
Okay.
and then an hour to the beach, and then an hour running back to the beach, and then I go to the gym.
Even after you do the military training?
Yeah, I work on the specific muscles that I need for my long runs.
Wow.
So I finish this at around 8:39. I do my yerba mate, the tea. You know, it's a tea from Peru and South American.
Okay.
It is like any sort of tea,
Okay.
but I've been experimenting with it, and I felt like it's so good to my gut because I do all this fasting, by the way.
But you drink water,
Water,
right?
yeah.
Okay. Only water.
Only water.
No coffee, nothing. Okay.
Nothing.
Okay.
So and then I come back, I do my yerba mate, I put my AirPods or the music, and I put something like Hans Zimmer or a piano.
Okay.
I meditate, or I write, or I read for like 2-3 hours, and then I open my phone. I reach out to my phone and I check what's happening in the world because.
And this is at what time?
So I reach out to my phone at around 10:30, 11 a.m.
Wow. Goals. I wish I could do that.
I know it took me a long while, honestly, to do that. It's not a one-day thing.
Me, as soon as I wake up, I check my phone.
I know.
It's so bad.
It's so
I
nor-
hate doing
it's
it,
so
but I do
normal.
it.
But you know what? I think the best thing to do is at the beginning is to say, all right, the first 5 minutes I'm not going to touch my phone.
Mm-hmm.
Look, I'll share with you a secret. I have 2 phones. All right.
Okay.
One that is an old iPhone, maybe iPhone 8, something like that. I
Okay.
don't know what is it. Only that it has YouTube, my music apps.
Okay.
Only, right?
No one can contact you.
No
on
one
there.
can contact me or anything. And I have my other phone, my daily phone, right? So whenever I go to bed, now I don't do it anymore because I'm used to it. But that's how I started. I put my other phone somewhere very far,
Okay.
my actual phone,
Yeah.
and the other phone next to me with the alarm.
Okay.
All right. So whenever I turn on the alarm. I put music, and I go around it. You know what I mean? So I can't come and. That's how I started. I started for 5-10 minutes, and then I started.
I'm gonna try to do that.
Try it.
It's hard, but I'm gonna
swear,
try.
you will feel so good. You will actually feel so good because you will just give some time for your brain to understand yourself. Like, I know
Yeah.
that you understand yourself, but you understand more about yourself. You learn something about yourself. You hear your thoughts. You see your thoughts. You watch your thoughts. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
The thing is, like, I actually have to leave the country to actually feel that I can take a break. Because when I'm here, I feel like, you know, my phone's always with me. So I always respond. So someone asks me, hey, can you come to this place or this event or can you do this? And straight away, I'm like, yeah, sure. Like, I'm free. So whenever when I'm free, I'm like, I'll do something. I always like to work. But when I leave the country, when someone asks me, hey, can we meet at this time? I'm like, no, actually, I'm not in the country. So that's a good enough reason for me, which is, it's not normal. I don't think it's normal. And it's something everyone works on themselves, on like making themselves a better person. And I think one thing that I want to work on is not giving people so much, like give myself more time and then give everyone else. For me right now, it's more like, oh, the only time I give myself time is when I leave the country or when I'm on a vacation. When I'm here, my time is everyone else's time. But I think, you know, what you do, you know, you're 4 a.m., you wake up, you go for a run, you get your workouts in, you do your meditation, you have your ritual of, I don't know what it's called, but
Mette.
yeah. How do you say it?
Mette.
Mette.
Yeah.
Seeing your morning routine, it's definitely inspiring me to like, maybe I will try to do something like that, you know, not check my phone.
Of course. Look, I know how busy is your schedule, right? And I know that sometimes we get not lost, but I mean, like, it takes a lot of our time, right? We only have 24 hours. Remove the time of sleep. The rest, we have to be, and actually with your lifestyle, right? You need this. But I think for you to have a better quality of the day, it's very important how you start your day. How you start your day is how it affects all the rest of the day, you know? So if you can find, like, I'm sure you can find 10 minutes in the morning. If you can start from there, trust me, this 10 minutes that you sit, you do a breathing, a meditation, or like a guided meditation, or maybe a walk outside. Here you live in a beautiful place outside. It's like trees, and especially in the morning, like everyone will be asleep and the birds are out, and you know, it's just, you feel like, all right, man, who am I? I'm no one, you know. I'm just part of this. So all this, because you know, we put a lot of pressure on ourselves, right? I have to be for this one, for him. I have to be for her. I have to be for everyone, and then I have nothing left for me, right? So I think it's sometimes let me fill my cup first, and then when my cup is filled, I can fill your cup.
I love that. So then after your meditation, then you check your phone.
Yeah. So I check my social media platforms. I decide, is it a day of filming? Is it a day of meetings? Is it a day of, you know, the company that we should work on? What's required from me? There's always a to-do list the day before that.
Oh, so you do a to-do list the day before of what you're planning on doing the next day.
Even me and the guys that I live with, that we are also building Let's Live together. So now Let's Live is also a company that we do the activity. We have the products that we are trying to improve people's life the same way that I improved my life.
You know, something else that also I started doing, and I remember I messaged you about it. I don't know, I watched a video somewhere talking about the benefits of walking with no shoes on and how powerful it is. And, you know, like, I'm like, you know, I want to do it. Living in Dubai, being part of Dubai Bling, like everyone watches me and they're like, oh, she has this lavish lifestyle. I go to so many events. I'm supposed to be dressed a certain way, like, you know, over the top. But I'm like, you know what? Like, I just want, like, when I go to nursery and drop off my kids, I don't want to wear shoes. When I go to the mall, I want to feel that feeling of not wearing shoes. So I didn't get to the point. I know you've done bare feet. I've never gotten to the point of bare feet, which is something I want to do. But I started with socks.
Yeah, I saw it, and I messaged you. I'm like, hey, I'm proud of you. Keep on doing it.
It was amazing.
How was it? Yeah.
The experience was a feeling, like, it was a freeing feeling. You know, like, as in society, there's like expectations put on you, where like, oh, you have to, when you go to a meeting, wear a suit. When you go to an event, put makeup on. You know, it's like these expectations that are put on us without us even knowing about it. So why am I expected to wear shoes when I leave the house? No, I don't want to wear shoes. I want to be wearing socks at home, then just put socks on and then just walk out the house. And I felt so free. Like that feeling, I can't explain. Everyone's like, how does it feel? I'm like, it's one of the best feelings I felt in a very long time. Now I'm back to wearing shoes again, but I like that feeling of sometimes being able to choose, you know, maybe today I don't want to wear shoes. I want to go to the gym and just go with socks. But when did you start doing like the whole bare feet experience? And can you tell me, what are the benefits of being...
I'll tell you my punchline. There's no benefits of being barefoot. There is no benefits in wearing shoes.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Interesting.
It's like we were meant to be with no shoes. Yet now we are trying to create the best technology for the shoes to imitate our feet. Right? So I'm not saying like, because I'm a runner, right? And I love running and I run long distances barefoot.
Wow.
So what I tell people, all right? First, my trigger was I had knee pain and back pain, all right? And I tried different shoes and I adapted to it for 2 years and I was running like 5K, 4K, 4 kilometers, 5 kilometers. But then if I run today, I have to take the other day break for my body, for my back to be relaxed, not put enough tension, all right? I'm not just saying this, but I was doing a lot of mistakes that I didn't know they were a mistake. Then I read a book called Born to Run, and it says like there's still a tribe now in Mexico called Himanurari, and they still run barefoot. I'm like, okay, let me try to run barefoot, right? So I wear my shoes. I went to the park. I put my shoes aside. I ran for 1 kilometer in the park. It was between grass and asphalt, like in the middle, like a little bit like that, a little bit like that. I felt so good. No injuries, nothing. Put my shoes on, go back home. Next day, I woke up. I left my shoes at home. And I went for a 2 or 3 kilometers, like 15, 20 minutes.
No socks?
Nothing. Barefoot, completely barefoot. And I felt so good. You know, because for one reason. Let me start with this. When with socks, you start activating this. When you start walking barefoot, all your nervous system, all your emotions, all what you feel, it's either with your hands or with your feet. And in your feet, you have 10 times more sensors than in your hands. That's why our feet are verticalish, right?
Yeah,
your hand are not.
That's true.
Because your senses are so aware.
Yeah.
So once you start walking, you start being in tune with actually feeling. Because nowadays we live in a society that we are just numb, right?
Absolutely.
I'm numb of how I feel because I'm on my phone. I'm numb of how I feel because I'm always eating. I'm always doing something. I'm never just being. You know, I'm always. You know what I mean? So this starts to make you feel like I'm feeling something, man. I'm feeling myself, you know. I'm feeling the ground. I'm feeling that here is asphalt, here is the grass. So you start getting in tune with the actual emotions of the feeling that we have.
Yeah, absolutely.
Put his shoes on a dog and put him out there, and he will be like, he want to move it, right?
That's so true. Yeah,
it is true. We are a species as well. Like the only difference, we are conscious species.
Yeah.
That's it. They are not, maybe.
Yeah.
So
no, it's true. And you know, I think you're right. And you're saying it makes you feel good. It made me feel so good. And it's like, and a lot of people are like, I want to know how it feels. I want to do it, but they're scared. It's like, you need to step outside that fear of what if, like me, like the reason why I have a fear of I wear socks is because I'm scared I step on like glass or for example, or, you know, and also it's the whole idea of, oh my God, my feet are going to get dirty. Like, it's just this fear. We always have fear. And it's beautiful, but it's also even more beautiful when you overcome that fear.
I'll share with you this. First, people have fear, as you said, walking on glass, right? Or hurt their feet. The other fear is catching a bacteria or a virus from the feet. And the third is how will people look at me, right? Those are the 3 fears that we face.
So the people looking at me, for me, is more like, I don't care.
I don't care. Good. So this is
me, but I don't know if the general public feel that way.
It's good that we mentioned the 3 of them, right?
Yeah.
The second is if you step on something. Mm-hmm. But what people don't understand, when you walk barefoot, you start looking at the ground and you start being fully present. Your mind is not wandering somewhere else. You're just here.
Wow.
And this is where you actually feel good. And that's what people don't understand. if you know, and I hope one day, because we live in Dubai, and I hope and they are open to new ideas like that. I hope one day I can make Dubai like like very well known that people has, or in schools, kids has to walk for 10 minutes barefoot. You know why? No one will throw any more glass, any more dirt, any more anything on the ground. You become so aware of the ground that no, I want to keep it clean, because I understand that if it's not clean, it's gonna damage me. So okay, let me do. I wish one day we can make this as a
Wow.
class or something. Imagine this will actually change the world.
I agree with you.
This is the second one, and the third one is, so once your feet gets activated, so because now our feet are dead. Well, the more you wear shoes, they are dead. Why would I
Absolutely.
want to? Why do I need to be awake? Why I'm always protected, right? It's like your immune system. Once they start being awake, your immune system gets strengthened from the feet, right? And you will never catch any bacteria, any virus from your feet. Before I went barefoot, I always had a wart. I always had a virus that I carry when I go to swimming pool and stuff. Now I walk in the dirtiest place, in the forest, on the streets, and trust me, in the streets in Lebanon, they are like, sometimes you will find like a lot of garbage on the side, and I walk next to it because I need to grab nothing.
Oh wow.
You know what I mean? So those are the three things that I always try to tell people, like, all right, if today you are always wearing shoes, don't go to today and walk 10
Bi-
kilometers
yeah,
barefoot, right?
yeah.
How you did is a great switch. Shoes, socks, let the muscles first get activated. Let you, because in socks, you will keep on feeling something. It's not like you're completely
Absolutely.
disconnected,
Yeah.
right? And then slowly, in a safe place, in a beautiful park, in a place that you feel like you're comfortable, if you have a garden or some place you feel comfortable, even at home, walk barefoot. And plus, like that, you will be protecting your ankles, your knees, your back. My mom had back pain, knee pain because of all that. I told her, Mom, no more shoes in the house. And now my mom, she started, it's been like 6 months, and her toes, because her toes were a bit like that from heels, always wearing heels.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
now her toes are expanding. The toes are expanding, less pressure on the ankle. My mom's not feeling good in the ankle, less pressure on the knees. And life is good, man.
Well, let's live, baby.
That's it, baby, every day. Like, it's that simple, right?
Amazing. I love
It's
that.
that simple. It is
Yeah.
that simple.
And you know Kanye West doesn't wear shoes anymore.
Yeah, I know that. Kanye
Have
West
you-
is a
have you
crazy
seen
guy.
that?
I know. But the problem is when Kanye West doesn't do such thing, the whole world starts questioning, because you know Kanye West is so extreme sometimes, and you say like, is it right or wrong? So
I think he's a genius.
I know.
But people, they sometimes confuse. There's a fine line between genius and crazy. So I think people are like, oh, he's crazy. But I really think he's genius, and he's understood the benefits of not wearing shoes. And, and just to go back to the point that you were making, I think mindfulness, if someone's trying to achieve the art of mindfulness, start by taking off your shoes and
Crazy.
you'll get there.
It is crazy.
Yeah.
It's that simple. That simple. Like
Yeah.
you don't have to buy any course. It's free, man. It's for free. Just take off your shoes and do it. That's it.
Now talking about feet, I want to try the nail board.
Let's do it.
I think that's like something you do. I've seen that you do classes on like ice bath, and you have like your students that do nail boards, like they stand on nail boards. And I've never done it ever, so I wanted to try it with you on the podcast.
Let's do it. We're gonna do it now. I just need to fill you with this. So when you challenge yourself physically, it is when you understand. Okay, so when you go into a stress, if it's physical stress or mental stress, your mind doesn't know the difference. So
Okay.
if you are having a problem with your colleagues, all right, it's stress. And if you're standing on the nail board, it's stress. So if you know how to deal with this stress, you'll be able to deal with the other stress. That's what I always tell people. So that's why we do the nail boards and the ice baths and stuff, because we try to make you in an uncomfortable situation to be comfortable in an uncomfortable situation, so you will be able to control it and be more like not react, just take a moment and proact, like see what happened, think, and then act. Right? Not like, and then go into anger and that. So that's why the purpose we do it. That's one. Two, the way that you can control all this is with our breath. So if I breathe, my heart rate goes up. He thinks that I'm under stress. My adrenaline, there's a molecule called adrenaline, chemical called adrenaline goes, and I'm into a fight or flight.
Yes.
And if I breathe like this, my heart rate slows down and my body say I'm relaxed. So when we're going to go into the nail board, I want you, when you prepare yourself, just always be aware. We're going to do, there's 2 levels, level 1 and level 2. We're going to start with level 1. I want you to feel it, take time. we're gonna put a chair and you're gonna put your feet on the nail board. Have a sensation of it, and then whenever you're ready, you're gonna stand up, and always you're controlling your breath. Your mind's gonna tell you, oh, it's painful, go down. Oh, nothing bad's gonna happen. Nothing. It's impossible for you to damage your feet or anything. And all you have to do is just.
Okay.
That's it.
I got you. Wait, before we go there, tell me about your records. You broke her. I feel like this podcast is too short to cover everything about you, Ramy. But there was a world record that you did.
Yeah.
And was it about the nail board?
Yeah, I stood on the nail board for 12 hours, 12 minutes and 8 seconds. And it was because of it was inspired by my aunt because she was passing into like a tough period before her death. And I wanted to experience something similar to what she's experiencing. So I was like putting myself, because preparation for such a record, it was a painful journey every day. You know, I have to stand up 1 hour one day. The other day I have to stand up 6 hours. The other day I have to stand up 2 hours. You know, so to be there. And then we did the record. I did the record for my aunt. I spoke to her and said, I want to do this record. Unfortunately, I don't know if unfortunately or fortunately, she passed away 3 days before the record. So I was on the nail board standing, setting the word record, and the family was in a funeral. So I was calling them, talking with them, and the beautiful thing is, in a very sad situation, I was able to put a smile and hope on everyone in the family. Me standing on the nail board, so it was just a bliss that I call it. It was a bliss, and yeah. So
what's your aunt's name?
Shahla.
Shahla, your world record was dedicated to your aunt Shahla.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
As it is.
I can't wait to do it right now with you. You guys are going to see me on a nail board in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And we are back with the nail board. Ramy, I can't believe I'm doing this, but walk me through it. Tell me what we're doing.
First things first. We have to control our breath.
Okay.
Good. If you feel like you need to breathe more, you can. Faster, but the same thing. Not this.
From the nose out the mouth.
Always. Faster.
Okay.
All right? This is rule number 1. Rule number 2 is it's impossible for you to hurt yourself.
Okay.
It's very important to know, because your mind is going to tell you, I'm in pain, I'm hurting myself. Impossible.
Okay.
Rule number 3, we're going to go slow. First, you're going to put your feet while sitting. Feel it. Understand, okay, what's coming. Okay? Then we will adjust it. You will tell me like if you want it closer to you or whatever.
Should I start?
Whenever you're ready, I will give you my hand. You put pressure on my hand so you can lift you up and then slowly be there. We just need to do a 30 seconds, 45 seconds. That would be great. Okay? Okay?
Okay.
You
I'm
ready?
I'm ready.
Good?
Okay.
Good.
Ooh.
Breathe. Yeah.
Okay, so you said it's not going to hurt me, and it's not going to hurt me. It's all in my mind. It's great. It's amazing. Wow. Okay, so okay, I can't. I feel like I need to sit down.
Give it 10 seconds more, but focus on your breath. Faster, if you feel like it's annoying. Breathing is what controls your mind.
Okay, can I sit?
Yeah, you can.
Okay. Oh, shit. Okay, let me tell you what I felt. I felt pain. I felt pressure in my heel. And like I kept saying, okay, maybe the reason I'm feeling this is because I'm pulling up my pants. And I was like thinking of different reasons to blame. I tried to really like go in the zone, but I feel like my mind was playing games with me.
So agitated, right?
And my heart kind of was racing as well. And I felt like, you know that feeling when you're like adrenaline?
Yeah.
I felt it.
It does. It does.
I did feel it. And it's, you know that feeling when you're like super stressed, right?
It is the same.
The ultimate level of stress, that's how it felt.
It's actually the same.
And I wanted to stay longer, but I thought I could, but I don't know. I don't think I can.
Yeah, whatever you've done, the first time is great. The first time I stood on the nail board, I stood up for 10 seconds. Can you imagine? 10 seconds and I was like, I can't.
Wow. And there's a second level to this.
And there's a second
This is the beginner, and I think for me, I think I need to keep trying and trying,
course,
and then I
of
would
course.
eventually do it. But
First, you activate, you understand, you start understanding how I feel from my feet, you know, understand all this before going into the other levels, before everything. And even what I say is, if you want to switch into going barefoot, the nail board is so good because now you're teaching your body to activate your feet, and it's safer than to activate it on the streets and on the grass, right?
exactly,
So
yeah.
this is a secret that not a secret, it's a protocol that you can use to make this shift. You don't have to live barefoot, but I mean for you to have this time that I want to just be in with my feet and not worry about hurting my feet or something like that. This could help so much.
Yeah, I think now that I've stepped on nails, I'm not scared of anything.
Right.
If I go out in the streets, there's no way there's going to be a million nails where I'm going to step on.
It's
right?
impossible, right?
Like this scenario would never happen.
agree
So
with
it
you.
gives me more like maybe next time I go out, I won't be wearing socks. I'll go without socks and try it. But-
Easy, slowly but surely, I would always say.
Thank you so much. And if people want to try doing like one of these classes with you, they can find you on.
Yeah, on Instagram we have the page for Let's Live. There is my personal account, Ramy Naouss, and we are doing. Now I took a break. I don't know how long. I just feel I need a break now for maybe a week, 2 weeks, and then we do a gathering every Saturday.
Okay.
It's a gathering, like an event where we have a good talk. We do some meditation, some breathing, challenge ourselves mentally, physically, some social games, some social challenges, and all that. Like that, you just be there and just be a human. No layers, nothing. No one cares about anyone else. We're just in the garden, bunch of adults acting like kids and learning so much. Yeah.
So everyone check out Ramy. I'm going to put all his information in the description below. I love this podcast. I hope you guys loved it too. And make sure you like, subscribe, share with a friend, and make sure you try this nail board because it's amazing.
It is.
I know I might not sell it that much, but it's a mind game. And if you want to, I guess, like, you know, conquer your mind, you need to step outside your comfort zone. And I'm definitely going to try this in a later stage again. Thank you so
100%.
much, Ramy.
Thank you for having me.
Of
It was
course.
amazing.
Thank
Enjoyed.
you.
It was
Thank you so
amazing.
much. Thank you.